All right, what's good, guys? I want to make a brief video here. Want to talk about a little something. Basically, I was browsing bigger pockets. I sometimes do. I check it like every other month or something, every month, something like that. And I checked the Cincinnati section mostly, just to see what's going on in our area where I invest. And lo and behold, there's a post about North Avondale, which is actually very interesting to me because I have a 3 unit in the area. And this lady here, Jacqueline Robbins, she made it. Here's her post. Basically, I'm not going to read this whole thing. It just summarizes that she's not a quote unquote newbie landlord. She knows what her and her husband have experience buying rentals, this and that. However, they bought this property, this 4 unit in Cincinnati, Ohio, and now they're having a hard time renting it, and she's asking for advice. And I just took a look at all the information, see what's going on here. Um, and then basically, she stated one of the things that she stated was she's an out of state investor, but she used a real estate agent who works in Dayton, Ohio, both Dayton and Cincinnati. Which is, I don't know. It seems to me that to me seems like a red flag. I mean, I'm sure maybe there are some rock star agents that know both cities, but in my eyes, either you're really obsessed about one market, like you grew up in this area and you know every single listing by heart, every single listing that pops up, you know what the price it sells for, you know how many days it's been on the market, that type of, or you're just a real estate agent that just takes orders. Just you can buy property through him. They'll fill out the paperwork for Dayton and Cincinnati, and then just knows about quote unquote the hot areas or what have you. That's what I think. So basically, I basically I'm kind of blaming. Partly, I'm blaming. I mean, ultimately, it's her responsibility for the predicament she's in. But I think a lot of the blame is unfortunately the real estate agent who you see you'll see what I'm saying in a minute. Let's see, like when you click on the property right here. Oh, you guys can't see the link. Here's the property. It seems okay-ish. It's nothing is great. I mean, it seems pretty bare bones, and I'm sure in person is probably worse than the pictures because this seems like very economy type of remodeling, which is okay. Which is it could be fine for depending on what type of D or C class neighborhood you're in. But 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. 3 bedrooms is a good thing. Maybe one bathroom is a little. It's not ideal for 3 bedrooms, but it's fine. It should work. The main issue always comes down to price. She wants 1,500 for it, and let's click on this street view right here. And here's one of your main problems. I mean, ultimately, always the main problem is price. For anything cheap enough, you can rent it. But for $1,500, if she knew, or if your real estate agent knew, or she really knew the Cincinnati market, 1,500. Cincinnati is very street by street. Um, this is North Avondale. Now, this is Reading Road, and it's kind of like a rough, ugly area. But going like 5-6 blocks down that way, and up north, you have $1 million mansions. You have some really beautiful areas. So you can't just average the rents. You can't just look at rents just like scattershot. It's very street by street. And unfortunately, if you have a real estate agent that specializes, like, that works in Dayton too, how's he going to know every single street? Um, which is, yeah, I think that's part of the problem. I mean, even but although here's the thing that she should know and everybody should know. Um, it's it's this. Um, People want to live in let's say if you, a lot of people's a lot of people's perception about like what a good home is, what a nice neighborhood is, like shaped by Hollywood. And when like Hollywood shoots a video about like a nice neighborhood or a neighborhood that's not like a character growing up in, they always have like a very like single family houses, a lot of trees, very grassy. Um, and then anything that deviates from that, it's kind of problematic. Like if you're depicting somebody growing up. There's some movies depicting somebody growing up like in a poor area. Well, they'll show you a house next to some oil fields or something like that. Um, that's what I would recommend to people. Think of your house like if Hollywood was to shoot your shoot your property. What type of scene would they cast your property? Was it in the hood, in a crime-ridden neighborhood? It's if so, you probably I mean, you could buy that property if you really know what you're doing. If you're this seasoned investor and you have hundreds of units in that area, and you know what you're expecting. But if you're just out of state person that just wants something kind of like passive and very easy to manage, this is not it. Because um, let's see here. Yeah, busy street, horrible. Um, you have it, just apartment buildings in general are I would consider a bad. Well, Cincinnati anyway, because a lot of apartment buildings, meaning, uh, more or less, how should I say, people with lower incomes. And those people with lower incomes usually have a lot of uh, single parent households with a lot of young kids that might become juvenile delinquents, that type of thing. I mean, right across the street, you have a completely abandoned apartment, which is really bad. Um, Somebody on the Bigger Pockets pointed out these three cop cars or security cars. They have 24-hour security. There's like a check-in zone. I mean, this place doesn't look. I mean, I'm sure it's rough. This doesn't look awful. However, this is what I would say. I think she paid 380 for this, which is probably a lot for a 4 unit in here. That's probably way overpaid. Um, she mentioned the seller was very motivated. Like, yeah, I would say. So check this out. If her real estate agent knew anything about the area or had any kind of competency, he would know because I'm not a real estate agent. I just check Zillow all the time and I do a lot of research in this area. And I know that this house right here is always for sale. This one right here, this red one, 4 unit. Somebody's always trying to get rid of it. It's been, I don't know, I haven't kept track of who bought it, who who owns it now. Is it on the market at this moment? I just know every time I'm just looking for multifamily units, it's always on here. It's always on Zillow for the most part. Over the 3 or 4 years that I've been back in Cincinnati investing here, so that's a huge problem. Here, her real estate agent should know that. Um, I mean, what could she could do hypothetically? I mean, you could. Here's the problem: you could try to improve this property. You could try to repaint the building, repave this lot. Make a better fence. But at the end of the day, it's not really going to raise rent that much. I don't think it's not. You're just kind of flushing money down the toilet in a way, just because of the area. And I don't expect a lot of appreciation in this area. This is not a, this is not a booming neighborhood. You're not. This is not a trendy neighborhood with coffee shops and restaurants and things like that. Um, so I don't know where she thought. Oh, coincidentally, so my property, it's in this neighborhood, but in a much nicer on a much nicer street. I am going to try to go for 1,500, 1,600. Maybe if I have to drop it, 1,400 type of rent. But my rent, my street is beautiful. I can show you. You know what? Maybe I can show you guys. Let's see. Not here. So this is the street what I with what I'm working with. This is my building right here. This is in the same general neighborhood. However, just look at the difference. Granted, it's not a sunny day right now, but you have these nice remodeled, freshly painted houses here, really taken care of. Um, I can see this building cast in a movie as just a blue collar or just like somebody having a pleasant childhood in a Hollywood movie, that type of thing. Because whenever you look at a property and the vibe it gives you, when a tenant shows up or looks at it online, possibly rent it, that's the same feelings they're going to have. So don't ever always trust your gut. When I immediately when I came to the street, was looking at this building, I immediately loved the street. I love the trees, single family, lots of single family houses. That's important, even though there's probably multifamily here. Nice big long trees, and mind you, this is not an expensive neighborhood. I pay less for my building. It's not an expensive neighborhood. It's pretty close to where she bought her building. It's just all about the street. Everything's very street by street. You just got to understand that. Understand how what a renter thinks about a particular street. Um, and another thing I would point out. Here we go. Let's see here. So I punched in her address on Rentometer, and Rentometer is not perfect by any means. But what I did is I tightened up the search here, and this says average, median, 70th percentile. The rents in that area are 1,300 basically, like across the board. I don't know where she got the comp of $1,500 a month. I really don't see it at all. Now, I mean, she could drop the rents to 1,200, but might be tough because if she paid 380 for that building and dropping the rents that low could probably maybe she breaks even, but any kind of repairs she might have she might be in the red. So yeah, let's see here. Let me go back to her listing. Yeah, everything here. I mean, nothing screams. Everything is very Home Depot-ish, the landlord style, the cheapest possible amenities or cheapest possible everything. Just, but it's clean. It's bare bones. It's fine. I mean, she's not attract. She's not like in a fancy neighborhood or like a hipster up and coming neighborhood. I get that, but um, yeah, for 1,500, you not for that street. I'll put it that way. Maybe she did find a comp, somebody renting something for 1,500 in North Avondale, but it's probably up north. It's probably on a way nicer street with a like a historical house has been restored with like nice hardwood floors. The street is tree lined and single family houses, that type of thing. All right, so that's my little update for you guys. I just want to give you guys a heads up. Be careful when investing in Cincinnati. All right, later.